Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course. And as you can see from the title of this video, I will be giving a high overview, ultimate recap of season 18 of The Real Housewives of Orange County. I love this show. I've been watching it for several years now, and I feel like season 18 is one of the best seasons that they have had in a few years. It was definitely entertaining, and some of the storylines I feel like some people could definitely relate to. I was surprised to see it on Orange County, considering that area of California, and I'm sure its average median income is much higher than the overall average median income for the country. But we're going to get into that for sure. Now, before we do, I ask that you please hit the like button on this video and please subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. And of course, everything that I'm saying in this video is alleged and just my opinion. All right, so I wanted to start out with, of course, the cast photo and for season 18. And we have Katie Janella, we have Gina, Heather Dubrow, Tamra, and Emily, and I'm skipping over obviously, and Shannon, and of course we have Jen. So we're going to get into their individual storylines. So what I want to start out with is we have Jen Pedranti. She has been on the show for a couple of seasons now. She is a yoga instructor. She has quite a few children. I believe at least 3 or maybe even closer to 5. Some of them are like her foster children. I'm not 100% sure that she has adopted them. And I actually find that because I've thought to myself, like, did she adopt them? Because I believe I know people, I have acquaintances who have adopted children. Like I know them from church. And I believe you have to show or document things like income just to be able to verify that you'd be able to take care of the kids. And to me, that's very reasonable considering these children already do not have families. Why would the state allow them to enter a home where, potentially their needs would not be met? The reason why I say all of this is not only because Jen, at minimum, is a foster mother, but she has been struggling to pay her rent and she was evicted during season 18 of The Real Housewives of Orange County. Now, this is really amazing to me because on The Real Housewives of Orange County, in seasons past, we've seen Vicki Gumbelson, who has started and built her insurance company from the ground up. It is worth millions because when she divorced her ex-husband, Don, she had to give him 50% of the business's net worth, because California is a community property state. Oh, so I just want to say that's the type of caliber in terms of income that we typically see on this show. Also, we've heard in years past that Vanessa Bryant, the wife of late NBA player Kobe Bryant, was asked repeatedly to join the cast. And we all know that Kobe Bryant's children played basketball with Shannon Bedore's daughters, allegedly. So that income in that area is definitely affluent, wealthy, just super rich. So Jennifer is a yoga instructor. She has a boyfriend, Ryan, who he has some drama. Of course, Tamra exposed that if you've been watching. He was accused allegedly of money laundering, money through Las Vegas casinos. Jennifer has come out and said that that's really about his business partner and has nothing to do with him. According to Tamra, there's been a federal investigation into, at minimum, Ryan's business partner, could also be Ryan as well. And, it's being reported that Ryan and his business partner, they make several trips to Las Vegas for their business. I believe Ryan could be a bookie. I'm not 100% sure. He did try to explain his business during an episode of this current season. And I still didn't get a handle on what he does for money. Jennifer even said in a scene when some of the women asked her, "What does your boyfriend do?" She said, "Well, nothing now. He just kind of lays out in the sun." Jen, she seems like a very sweet girl, very polite, very approachable and easy to talk with. But I feel like she is not the most self sufficient. And for a lot of women, a lot of single women, a lot of single mothers, you may not always be in a position where if you F up your money or if you are underemployed or if you do not pay your bills on time, your parents can just swoop in and cover what you cannot cover. In like episode 1 or 2 of this season, Jennifer said in her confessional that her job as a yoga instructor does not cover all of her monthly bills. And yet I told you she has young children. My thing is, why don't you look for a job that does pay you enough? I don't know Jennifer's skill set, if she's graduated from college, what her previous jobs were. But if yoga does not pay all of your bills, then I would say that it's crucial to find something else that does. And then we saw her film a season with her parents, a scene with her parents, where she's crying and hugging them because they've helped foot the bills. That's great that you don't want your daughter and your grandkids out in the cold. That's very generous of you. But you're helping Jen. You're just kind of like enabling her. You have not taught her money management, because if you did, she may be in a more comfortable, flexible position than this. And Jennifer, she's a beautiful girl. She has a great body. And I believe she has had some cosmetic surgery, but I say that to say she also obviously does yoga. So she works on herself in the physical sense, but she's no spring chicken. And so her parents, they already are of retirement age, and yet they are still helping their daughter, who is a mom. And her oldest child, he's like a young adult, maybe like 18 or 19, I believe. So she's old enough that I would hope at this point in life that she has learned money management. On top of that, Gina, who's on the Real Housewives of Orange County, she is a realtor. And she actually vouched for Jen to get in the home that she was evicted from. This is another example of, Jen being in a position where she experiences some privilege, some favoritism. You already have your parents that can help spot you financially when your job as a yoga instructor does not pay all of your bills. And then Gina was able to vouch for you to get you selected as the tenant for a rental property. You did not have to turn in your recent pay stubs or W-2s, or I imagine have your credit pulled to show that you are responsible with your money, only to struggle to pay the rent. So for Gina, I would say a heads up in the future, do not do that again. I know that Gina earned some sort of commission to broker that transaction to get that landlord that new tenant. But if I was that landlord, I would think, what the F? Like, she can't pay me rent, and I listened to this one who vouched for her. So, Gina, that was a huge mistake, especially with you being newer in the real estate industry. You should have been more focused on trying to build those relationships. And with you vouching for someone who could not pay the rent, that just looks really bad for you. So I just would not have done that. And it just kind of goes back to the rule about not doing business with family and friends. And then I want to talk about, and then Jen, she moved in with Ryan. Once she got evicted, she moved in with Ryan. And we all know that he has some sort of business. So I guess that's how he's paying the bills over at his house. And he has proposed, and they're supposed to get married in 2025. And according to Tamra, Ryan has cheated allegedly, and his preference is married women. Okay, so now let's move on to Shannon Bedore, her ex John Jansen. You may be looking at the next two photos and thinking, wow, is that the same man in photos with two different women? Yes, you are correct. So, Shannon Bedore, let me say this. You would probably consider me biased towards Shannon. I have a special place in my heart for Shannon Bedore. I love like her quirkiness. I love how she's into, anything natural or homeopathic remedies for any illnesses. She loves pretty much like Eastern medicine and going to a doctor, Dr. Mao, who like he'll touch her body, her stomach to look for any trauma or any stress. And I remember her first season, I believe season 9 was Shannon Bedore's first season on the show. She said, my husband, David, says that he believes we pay Dr. Mao's mortgage. So I assume Dr. Mao is not a traditional doctor in the sense of, being able to bill insurance companies. So you just pay him cash. And, Shannon Bedore, when she was married to David Bedore, they lived in a huge mansion that they got built from the ground up. And in the foundation, she had crystals put in the foundation. So that's the type of level she's on, just to give you some background on Shannon. Of course, fast forward, and she divorced David Bedore. Allegedly, he cheated on her, married the mistress. The mistress had his baby. The mistress is younger than me, and he's in his 60s, old enough to be the mistress's dad. But they got married, had a baby. Now they're getting a divorce. And this is his second divorce in a community property state. But do I really feel bad because he cheated on Shannon? So absolutely not. Shannon has 3 beautiful daughters. Two of them are twins, and they are all in college now. So I feel like I've watched them grow up, over the past several years. But I love Shannon Bedore's quirkiness, Now, she dated this guy named John Jansen for at least a couple of years. So they broke up, but before they did, she decided to get a procedure done, like a really high-end, facial or some sort of procedure, of the face. And according to her, she was gifted $75,000 by John Jansen for the procedure. According to him, he loaned the money. It was a loan. And he is suing her for the money. Add to that, Shannon Bedore also earlier this year, or perhaps late last year, she had a DUI. She was driving while drunk, allegedly, and crashed into a house. So a very serious accident. Thankfully, no one was hurt or lost their lives. Shannon she took photos of herself from the night of the accident. She was very bloodied. It was really tough to look at that photograph. She showed it to Heather Dubrow in a scene just with the two of them. And allegedly, according to his new girlfriend, Alexis Bellino, he has video of Shannon Bedore drunk from that night before she left his house and got into the accident. And allegedly, I guess she almost ran over his daughter. According to Alexis Bellino, I'm just repeating what she said. I've read articles like on Reality Blurb. I follow them on Instagram as well, where Shannon has said that John said that he will not release the video. She said she hopes he doesn't because that would actually make him look really bad to show Shannon in such a bad light. And to me, it just makes him look like he's just really trying to drag Shannon's name through the mud. I know that he said that prior to dating Shannon, he's never watched this show. I do not believe that. He totally gives thirst bucket. He's thirsty. He wanted to be on TV. He wanted to be known on a national level. He probably wanted thousands and thousands of followers on his social media. and he used Shannon to do it. And then, unfortunately, she does like to have, her drink. I can remember she would always order like vodka and Pellegrino and lots of limes. That's way too tart for me, but that is Shannon's thing. And she always had like a really warm vibe with Vicky Gunvalson. Have they fallen out? Of course, but they've gotten back together as friends. She, Vicky, and Tamra, they used to do a show called The Tres Amigas. And now it's just Shannon and Vicky. Tamra has broken away from that. I always felt like secretly, deep down, Tamra didn't really F with Heather. I'm sorry, Tamra didn't really, well, sometimes I thought that Tamra didn't fuck with Heather either, but I think she's really not close friends with Shannon. I think that she's tried to be friends with her almost like on an ally level, like I can have her back, she'll have my back. But I don't think that Shannon is the type of chick that Tamra would hang with. And I really don't think a lot of these girls are. I think Tamra, she would be more like I don't think anybody on this cast is like her type of girl. I kind of feel like if Kelly Dodd, if her mouth wasn't so reckless, Kelly has brought up Tamra's daughter that doesn't speak to her. Like if she didn't do stuff like that, I kind of feel like Kelly and Tamra, they would enjoy partying together. Tamra and Vicky have great chemistry. And I think Tamra and Emily could sort of get along as well. But Emily, she can be very analytical at times. And I think that her brain and her thought process may be too much for Tamra. I'm not calling Tamra stupid, but I'm just saying like I don't really think that's like her type of chick. Just in my opinion. So anyway, back to Shannon and John. So they have broken up. He is suing her. She left his house one night. He told her, "You're too drunk. You should not drive." And she said to prove him wrong, she did. And she even had the nerve to punch it on the gas, lost control, and hit a house. So we saw her during this current season 18 of Meeting with Her Lawyer. And he talked about everything that she did. She did not get jail time, of course, but she did have to take some classes, I believe, about not drinking and driving. I think she does have community service. So she did get some things and she did share that scene with us. So far, we're not seeing the same type of reality from Karen Huger on the Real Housewives of Potomac. But we also, I guess, have to let the season play out. We're just like about a month into this current season of the Real Housewives of Potomac. But I want to give you all the background that this is a very tough season for Shannon. So she's getting sued. She's had a DUI. She ran into a house. How embarrassing. Her and John have broken up. His new girlfriend, Alexis Bellino, whom we've seen in, seasons past of the Real Housewives of Orange County, has returned to the show as John's new girlfriend. Now, is it normal for couples to break up and people move on and start dating new people? Of course. But is it normal for the girl to enter your friendship group, even if it's on a reality TV show? Not totally 100% normal. Are we seeing it on other shows like the Love and Marriage Huntsville where Sonny and Moses have gotten married and Destiny used to date Moses? Yes. But do we see that on every single reality TV show season after season? No, we don't. And so I do find this very embarrassing for Shannon. And Alexis definitely has been running that mouth. Now, on a drama level, just for the sake of drama and entertainment, Alexis was bringing it, baby. She had a lot to say. She could get the party started in terms of going back and forth with Shannon, scene after scene in those earlier episodes of this season. But she's been quiet ever since Shannon shut her down when she planned a trip to London for her 60th birthday. And she texts Alexis that she can't come. And then ever since then, Alexis kind of quieted down because she got shut down like a Ford motor plant in a recession. Okay, she was shut down. So, for the sake of entertainment and just drama for a reality TV show, Alexis has been bringing it, but then Shannon put a stop to it. What do you all think about John Jansen dating two women who are both affiliated with the same reality TV show? Do you think that John Jansen is a thirst bucket, or do you think that it's purely coincidental that he started dating Shannon Bedore, they broke up, and then he starts dating Alexis Bellino, and then, she was able to get back on this show? Now, I want to talk about some other storylines here. Oh, and also, this is from episode 1, the very first episode. Alexis and Shannon, they were at an event that Heather Dubrow was planning. They stepped outside to talk about their relationship. Now, or John and Alexis, their new relationship. Also, there's some more background that these visuals are reminding me of. So Alexis is divorced. She used to be married to Jim Bellino, if you remember. Jim Bellino owns this chain of trampoline parks where, you can go and you can jump on the different trampolines, the different themes that they have. Well, a few years back, Shannon and Tamra were on a podcast, and allegedly they were saying some not so favorably things about Jim Bellino's trampoline park. I ain't even gonna say what they were saying. I ain't even gonna say, because he sued them and they had to pay. They had to come out of their pocket several $100,000, y'all. In this scene, Shannon is saying to Alexis, you were a part of that lawsuit. You were with Jim when they sued Tamra and I, when he sued us. She said, no, I wasn't. I had nothing to do with that. Well, later on during this season, Shannon is going to dig up old text messages where Alexis reached out to her and said, we are going to sue you. And for Shannon, that felt like a smoking gun. I kind of felt like, okay, you replace he with we, but that meant a lot to Shannon. But this was right in episode 1, baby. They did not hold back, again, with the drama. So then I want to share with you all this storyline. And I feel torn because I really like Katie Janela. I feel like she's gorgeous. In terms of beauty for the cast of season 18, Katie eats the girls up. She is a beautiful woman. She is Korean. She's adopted. Her Korean mom had her at the age of 15 in Korea. And then even at the age of 15, her mom worked at a factory. And just a few days after having Katie, she realized that she couldn't keep her. So she put her up for adoption. Katie was adopted by white Americans here in the States. And she actually, her ex-husband, she had her daughter at like the age of I believe 21. She was like a young mom. And she's now married, and her new husband has I sort of adopted her daughter. Her daughter changed her last name to acknowledge her stepdad. And Katie seems to be, for the most part, reasonable. Her confessionals are good. She has the shady lines. I feel like she dresses beautifully. She has plans to go see her biological mom in Korea. And I feel like that's a great story for people who can relate to being adopted and not growing up with their biological parents. Love that. And even the story of, her biological daughter, Katie's daughter, not being close with her biological dad, and that relationship is kind of fractured, but she bonds with her stepdad. I think that's great, because we don't always see that a lot in terms of presenting blended families. So Katie doesn't see it for Heather Dubrow. Now, if you watch The Real Housewives of Orange County, okay, I love the DeBros, baby, because they are luxury, they are wealthy, they don't apologize for having money, and they should not. And I just love it. They have built mansions from the ground up and sold them, made dozens of millions of dollars. And now they're renovating a mansion. They have 4 kids. And, like a few of them are like in college now. And also, like 3 of their kids, Heather and Terry Dubrow, 3 of their kids are part of the LGBTQ community. And Heather does not hide that. She loves and supports her children. And I deeply respect her for that. And so I really like Heather Dubrow. And Emily, of course, is an attorney. She's married to Shane, who has really weird energy. And whenever I see Shane, I just think of that scene some seasons back with Kelly Dodd. She was like, "You're a little bitch. You're a little bitch, bro." Like, and then when they play it, it's just hilarious. But anyway, so a more serious thing happened that I want to talk about. So Katie had a scene with Tamra's daughter, who's now 18, so she's considered an adult. She can film on the show. She's one of Tamra's kids with her ex-husband, Simon. And then Katie's daughter, I can't think of her name right now. She's like 19. The 4 of them filmed a scene. And Katie says to Tamra, wait till you hear this. And Katie's daughter talked about how when she babysat Emily's kids, that they told her that Heather Dubrow is mean to our mommy. And Tamra just made a face like, whoa, because it involved kids. And here is Katie's daughter throwing children under the bus. So Tamra carries this bone to Emily and Heather. And of course, what is disturbing to Emily is that it makes it look like Emily talks about Heather badly in front of her kids. And then they're repeating it to the young adult daughter who says that they told her. So Emily discussed this with her husband, Shane. Shane said, okay, well, this is too much mess. She will never babysit our kids again. And when Emily asked her sons, they said, no, Mom, she told us that Miss Heather was mean to her mom. So we're hearing 2 opposite stories. Somebody is lying. And I really feel like Katie's young adult daughter, I feel like she's telling the fib. And they did a joint confessional, Katie and her daughter. And the daughter said, why would I lie about that? And Katie was like, you wouldn't. Don't say that like your daughter's perfect, Katie. Everyone is prone to lying because it's wrong. If you're religious, you would say that's a sin. So any human being is going to be susceptible to committing that sin. I feel like she's telling the fib because if the boys never told Emily or Shane right after she babysat them, Mommy, the Miss Babysitter said that Heather is mean to her mom. Like to me, they would have repeated that, especially as young kids. But for the young adult to repeat it, it's giving messy. And it's giving she lied and she flipped it. So I don't like that. I don't like putting little young kids who's in elementary school in drama and mess. And I don't like the whole presenting it like Emily gossips about her castmates in front of the children. And Bravo was messy, but I'm glad that they did this. Bravo actually ran a clip. You know how they'll just film and not every single scene obviously will make the episode. So Bravo did a quick cutaway of Katie and her young son and her husband eating at the dinner table. And this little boy says, So, mom, is Heather still being mean to you and rude to you? And Katie's just looking like, oh, and eating her food. So, Bravo showed where obviously Katie talks about her cast around her kids. And that trips me out because I was raised old school. I was told as a child, stay out of grown folks' business. If I was like in the room sitting on my mom's lap and people were talking and I would like interject, stay out of grown folks' business. Katie didn't say that to her son. She just kind of looked goofy and kept eating her food like it was amusing to her. So I'm hoping when the reunion starts next week and they circle back to this, I'm hoping that Andy brings that up to Katie. And if he doesn't, for some stupid reason, I hope that Heather brings it up because Katie needs to be put on blast for reeling in her children into grown folks' business. She is wrong for that. And then Emily was saying, but do you see how that makes me look like a bad mom? And Katie was like, yes, and I apologize. To me, she kind of got off the hook for it. It was just an easy little slap on the wrist. And no, they really need to get her together at the reunion. I feel like when newbies join the Real Housewives of Orange County, they always go for Heather Dubrow. I think that they consider her to be an easy read because Heather is not going to get down in the mud with you. She's not going to constantly curse you out. She's not even going to go low and come for your looks or the fact that in relation to her, you're poor. She's not even going to go there, you know? So I think that newbies find Heather to be easy. Like they're not going to come for Tamra. They're not going to come for Emily, who can read them down, but they're going to come for Heather. And I think there's also a mixture of jealousy as well because she is so rich. But what did you all think of this storyline? Were you really turned off by Katie talking about Heather around her kids and having the young adult daughter bring that bullish about Emily's young sons and speaking on Heather? Who do you think is lying? And were you satisfied with this current season? Is it like the older seasons? No. I mean, if I were to binge watch, I would binge watch season 9, which was Shannon's first season on the show. And yeah, she had to put her out, child. Oh my gosh. Because Tamra told Heather that Shannon received, an email from her husband. They were like on the outs, the marriage was struggling. And Heather, I'm saying it wrong, the email came a little later. So Tamra did confide in Heather. She gossiped to Heather that Shannon confided in her about her and David having issues. Heather went to lunch with some other girlfriends that have nothing to do with the show. And because Newport Beach in Orange County is a small town, they were gossiping. And I think Heather kind of mentioned, yes, she heard that there were problems. Someone at the restaurant carried that bone back to the mistress, who carried it back to David Bador. David Bador sent Shannon an scathing email for talking about their marital issues, and it's all the way at the restaurant. Shannon goes over Tamra's house, and she said, Tamra, you are the only person that I told, and then Tamra now has egg on her face because like you gossip, you repeated her business. Then Shannon went over to Heather's house because, she's feeling anxious. She's feeling worried. David sent her this email. He's being a jerk. And this is the Negro who cheated, but you out here fussing at your wife via email. And Shannon was like so upset, and Heather like put her out. It was real cold. It was real cold because the lady is dealing with adultery in her marriage right now. But that was what happened. And Shannon was having a tough time her first season on the show because her husband was cheating. So that was an explosive season, honey. If you have the Peacock subscription, for one thing that Peacock subscription is worth is all the old seasons of all the Real Housewives franchises. But there's also movies, recent movies that are at the theater. Sometimes Peacock gets some of them. And there's all sorts of shows. Even Heather's husband, Dr. Terry, his show Botched. I love Botched. I don't really watch it while I'm eating dinner. I have to be like not hungry and I ain't eating nothing because it can get a little gross. But all sorts of content is on Peacock. It's definitely worth the $5.99 a month. So it's great. But I thank you all so much for checking out this video. Please hit the like button on this video as it is a free way of supporting the channel. And please subscribe to Shows Style and Spirit if you have not already done so. I hope that you had a fun and safe Halloween. I hope you're having a great weekend. I did. As you can see, I got my locks done. Nice crispy parts. It was a great shampoo and steam, and it's got me feeling fine, baby. Mwah. So I will talk with you all soon. Bye.